Now we go on to heat number 4 for junior Rotax. It's groups B and D in action this time. Let's take you through the starting grid. Pole position, it's going to be Casper Schormans from the Netherlands in the 240. And alongside him will be the 244 from Argenti Motorsport, the UK's Kenzo Craigie. Max Cuthbert from the UK will be joined by Heat 2 winner Timo Jungling on row number 2, both representing the UK. Armand Hamilton and Ryan Bourguignon represent Hungary and France on row number 3. It's Italy and the UAE on row 4, courtesy of Alberto Kiko Fracassi and August Raber, with Thomas Ingram Hill from the UK and from the Netherlands, Krik Noren completing the top 10. Rounding out the 17-strong grid, it's going to be Lithuania's Tomas Rudokas in the 226, the 299 of Jordan's Hamza Al-Fayez, the 285 of Denmark's Knud Nielsen, the 256 of the UK's Ollie Wise, with Canada's Ryan Gander in the 219, Denmark's Kasper Nissen in the 222, and Boluet from Belgium in the 224, rounding out the 17-strong grid. So once again, it will be 7 minutes plus an additional lap on the timing, and the red lights are ignited on the starting gantry. Not exactly the best start of the weekend on heat stay for Casper Schormans, whose cart came to an abrupt halt and lost all power. I did have a chat with his mechanic in the lunch break, who said that we changed as much as we can to make sure that this doesn't happen again, but the cart did fire back up when we got it back into the awning. So we'll see if he can become one of 3 different winners so far, as the drivers now slowly make their way through the final corner into the tram lines. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out first time, and let's go racing. Craigie trying to keep side pod to side pod with Schormans, but that allows the opportunity for Max Cuthbert to get through into second position. And we got one right the way round. That was Alberto Kiko Fracassi, who was spun 180 degrees the wrong way. The Italian now back out onto the circuit. As now it is Schormans leading from Cuthbert, going through into turns 5 and 6. Through into turn 8 before the turn 9-10 chicane at Piff Puff. That's Armand Hamilton who's running in P3 now. So Alberto Kiko Fracassi has got some catching up to do. Drivers now make their way through the final corner once again. Schormans leads after lap 2. After lap 1. And now Max Cuthbert, Armand Hamilton, Kenzo Craigie. It's now Thomas Ingram Hill who's up into P5. August Rober's now 6th. Hamza Al-Fayez up into 7th, head of Timo Jungling. Ollie Wise now up into 9th. Head of France's Ryan Bourguignon. So there is going to be a lot of chasing from the drivers behind the top 2. And Armand Hamilton is bringing himself and Kenzo Craigie back into the mix. As Thomas Ingram Hill is trying to fend off a stern defence from August Raber, who has got Hamza Al-Fayez not too far behind. Now he's got him up the inside, and that was 2 for the price of 1. Hamza Al-Fayez has just made an absolutely brilliant manoeuvre, and he's got himself up into P5. Great work by the Jordanian, who's now up 7 positions from 12th on the grid, and now running in a genuine P5. As the move now happens through the very next left-hander, courtesy of Kenzo Craigie, who gets through on Armand Hamilton for P3. 4 minutes and 50 to go, plus an additional lap. And Armand Hamilton is not letting Kenzo Craigie get away. Ryan Bourguignon, in the meantime, has got back past Ollie Wise, up into 9th position. And there is Boluet behind the 256 from the UK. For the top two, it's a JJ Racing formation at the front end of the field. But knowing Max Cuthbert as I do, he might not want to stay behind Casper Schormans. Schormans is happy and content with running the racing line. August Raber's just been handed a 5-second time penalty. That will be implemented post-race. And that will drop him way out of the top 10. It's still a formation at the front of the field with Casper Schormans leading ahead of Max Cuthbert. And now this is when August Raber will see the 5-second penalty. And going into clubhouse once again, Max Cuthbert was very, very close under braking to the rear bumper of Casper Schormans. Whereas Hamza Al-Fayez has got a fight on his hands, but up the inside of August Raber, and Raber runs wide. That was Ingram Hill, that was Timo Jungling up the inside, so the 229 has dropped way, way back, lost a lot of ground, was running on the grass, and has just been overtaken by the 262 of Krik Knoren from the Netherlands, who's looking up the inside. That was on Ryan Gandor. Gandor trying to keep it pinned on the racing line. And he stays in front at the moment, but then the 262 back up the inside. August Raber getting his elbows out as well. Gandor's off the track. And Alberto Kiko Fracassi has now caught up to the back of Kasper Nissen, was nearly up the inside of the 222 from Denmark. So just under 2.5 minutes to go. And the lead has not been exchanged, but it has been elongated. As there is the 265, that's the 265 of, or 285 of Knud Nielsen running in the GKS Lemons power colours. But all drivers still running on the circuit as things stand. Ollie Wise has just been passed by Thomas Dorcas. And that was a move for 11th place on the road. More changes towards the just outside of the top 5 as Schormans and Cuthbert lead again after another lap. That's lap 6 completed. There's a big old battle brewing between the likes of Ryan Bourguignon, Boluet, Timo Jungling, and Boluet has gotten through. Jungling looking back up the inside. That's on Thomas Ingram Hill going through turn number 3. And Jungling gets back past. But it was a clutch technical non-conformity for Boluet post-qualifying that put him on the back foot, but he has risen to the challenge of moving up as far of the order as possible. And there's a penalty coming to the way of Timo Jungling, 5-second penalty. So for August Raber and Timo Jungling, they've both been hit with the 5-second time penalty for pushing, as Hamza Al-Fayez has just gotten himself back up into, I think that's 4th. And he's been dueling it out with Alman Hamilton for the last couple of laps. Going down to the final 35 seconds of the race itself, plus an additional lap. Schormans still leads, ahead of Max Cuthbert. Kenzo Craigie has got air both in front and behind him in the 244 Argenti Motorsport entry. Hamza Al-Fayez managing to get himself up into P5. We had that big drama with Alberto Kiko Fracassi very early on the opening lap. And now he's made up a couple of positions. He's looking to maybe hopefully make up a couple more. So the last lap board will be out this time. One more lap to go after this one. So the drivers making their way towards the back part of the circuit once again for the final time on lap number 9 out of 9. A very different story for Casper Schormans. He has kept the lead from the start phase and has not relinquished it. Max Cuthbert, He was able to make a move on his teammate under the same awning at JJ Racing. Only have been if it had presented itself. But they come out of Dunlop for the final time and run towards the checkered flag. And it's going to be Casper Schurmans who becomes the third different winner in Junior Rotax today, ahead of Max Cuthbert. Third, it's Kenzo Craigie. Good showing by the 244. Hamza Al-Fayez narrowly holds on to fourth because Boluet was 78 thousandths behind him in fifth. Armand Hamilton takes sixth position, ahead of Ryan Bourguignon, Thomas Rotax, Timo Jungling, Thomas Ingram Hill. They complete the top 10. There are a couple of penalties coming to Timo Jungling and August Raver, who get demoted down to 16th and 17th respectively. So Krud Nielsen takes 10th, Ollie Wise in 11th, Krik Knorren, Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Casper Nissen and Ryan Gandor ran at the top 15 with Jungling and Raver demoted post-race with two respective 5-second penalties. So that then concludes the fourth heat for Junior Rotax, Groups B versus D.